to Judges. This is the show where we'll see amazing things, and best of all, you'll get to be the judge about what's what and who's the best performer every week. There is a book in the Bible called Judges, and this book is all about people that God used to be leaders of the Israelites. Today, the judge that we're talking about is a man called Gideon. God sent Gideon to go and fight against the Midianites, but he did something that seemed totally impossible. He sent Gideon to fight with just a few men. Sometimes God asks us to do things that might seem completely impossible.
Hey guys! Do you think that I could make a hole in this piece of paper and be able to fit my whole body through it? I don't know. Do you want to grab a piece of paper and give it a try with me? So you see, sometimes how we see it looks impossible, but God has His own plans that don't match our plans, and He can make things that look impossible possible.
Ready for a staring contest? Try not to blink. Ready? Round 1. Did you blink? Round 2. Great job! You can blink now.
So let's jump in as we learn more about the judges from the Bible.
Last week, we learned about how God called Gideon to go and fight the Midianites. Gideon was really scared and didn't believe that he could do it, but God gave him strength and courage. Finally, Gideon and his army of about 32,000 men went out to go and attack the Midianites. While they were on their way, God spoke to Gideon and said, "You have too many men with you. I want you to go and fight with fewer men so that when you beat the Midianites, the men won't think they beat them themselves, but they will know that I gave you the courage, and everyone will know how great I am. Tell all the soldiers that anyone who is afraid can go home."
Does that sound like a logical thing to do to you? To fight with fewer men and send some of your army home? Of course not! But sometimes God's ways are not our ways.
Gideon told the men what God had said, and so 22,000 men left and went home. Now Gideon was left with an army of just 10,000 men. God spoke to Gideon and said, "You still have too many men. Go down to the river, and I will show you which ones you are to take with you." Gideon took the army down to the water where they drank. God said to Gideon, "Separate everyone who laps up the water with his tongue like a dog from everyone who gets down on his knees to drink." 300 of the men scooped water into their hands and lapped it up like dogs. But all the others, 7,700 men, got down on their knees to drink. God told Gideon, "Take only 300 men who lapped the water like dogs with you to go and fight the Midianites. Tell everyone else to go home, and I will give you the victory." So Gideon sent all but 300 men home. The Israelites went and waited just outside the Midianite camp that was in the valley below them. That night, God spoke to Gideon and said, "Get up, and go and attack the camp. I will help you and give you the victory. If you are afraid, go down to the camp, and when you hear what the people are saying, you won't be afraid anymore." Gideon snuck into the Midianites' camp, where he overheard a man telling his friend about a dream he'd had. The friend listened to the dream and then said, "Your dream must mean that Gideon, the Israelite, is coming and that God is going to help him beat us." When Gideon heard this, he fell to his knees and he worshipped God. Then he crept back to his camp and called his army together. "Get up," he said. "God is giving us the victory over the Midianites." He divided his 300 men into 3 groups and gave each man a trumpet and a jar with a torch inside it. He said to them, "When I get the edge of the camp, watch me and do what I do. When my group and I blow our trumpets, blow yours and shout, 'For the Lord and for Gideon.'" Just before midnight, Gideon and his group blew their trumpets and broke the jars they were holding. The other 2 groups did the same. They held their torches in their left hands and their trumpets in their right hands and shouted, "A sword for the Lord and for Gideon." The Midianite army got such a fright that they started to run away and attack each other. The Israelites defeated them, and God did exactly what He had promised. He gave them the victory.
Gideon's story reminds us that God's ways are not the same as our ways. Sometimes He asks us to do things that don't make any sense to us. But Gideon honored God and listened to Him even when things got tough, and because of that, God gave him the victory. All that matters is that we should trust God. With Him, even the impossible becomes possible.
In Isaiah, God says, "As the heavens are higher than the earth, so my ways are higher than your ways." Isaiah 55, verse 9. Say it with me again. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so my ways are higher than your ways.
It's time for You Be the Judge. You pick the best contestant. Whichever one you pick wins.